Hello and welcome to Shamoon Ebrahimi, who is running for a seat on the Des Plaines City Council in the April 4th, 2023 consolidated election. Thank you for participating in this candidate interview. I will be asking a variety of questions which were developed in collaboration between the Maine West Westerner student newspaper and Pi Sigma Pi Social Science Honor Society. You will have 2 minutes to share your answer to each one. When the 2 minutes have passed, I ask that you only take a few seconds to finish your thought so that we can move to the next question. Let's start now with question 1. We would like to know, let's say you get elected. When your term is up, what are 3 specific improvements you will have helped to make in Des Plaines?
I believe that by the time my term is up, you will see that I will have been part of a team that reduced city debt and supported budgets that will completely eliminate all city debt within the next 5 years. So we came from a point in history in Des Plaines where we had over $100 million in debt about 20 some odd years ago. That can literally come down to almost nothing within the next 5 years. And I think that's very important. I will be a person who will be fully funding public safety that gives first responders the tools to respond quickly when needed. So I am for providing more resources, particularly for our firefighter staff, police department. In fact, one thing I advocate heavily for is increasing mental health support as well. And that includes the police department. So that means adding a police officer who also is a social worker. They have one already, but I'd like to add even more, right? And also, last but not least, approve initial funding for a bridge over the railroad between Mount Prospect and Wolf Roads. And I am committing to making sure and seeing that this project is complete.
Thank you for your reply. We will now turn to our second question. Again, you'll have 2 minutes to provide your answer. Our second question is, new building developments in Des Plaines have been a hot button issue as of late. How do you plan to align building development with community development? How will you be sure that you are making choices that reflect what the constituents want?
So yes, I know building developments has been a hot topic. So here's how I envision this working out. We will try our best to, of course, revitalize downtown Des Plaines and any other parts of Des Plaines, right? So what I'd like to do then from there is push and advocate for that revenue that we are now generating, that new revenue that's being generated by the city of Des Plaines with the new developments, and a portion of that revenue to be allocated for that the community development events and programs to bring people together to increase this feeling of belonging within the city of Des Plaines. So what's one example where we can do that? Well, we have a very significant Latino Hispanic community within Des Plaines. Why not have an event specific for the Latino Hispanic community around maybe the fall, right? Maybe centered around Dia de los Muertos or another chosen event or a milestone event within the culture, right? That's one way we could do that. I'd like to also use some of that additional revenue to bring people together, raise awareness about all the varying cultures within the community, and also, again, go back to increasing things like mental health support. So now we can get ahead with mental health support so that we are not we're less reactionary and then more proactive to try to tackle that challenge.
Thank you for your answer. Please take the next 2 minutes to respond to our third question. For the third question, we'd like you to explain to voters, what is something you want to see added or changed in Des Plaines in order to provide recreational activities and promote local businesses?
I'd like to see more opportunities for our marginalized populations, our low-income families, and provide an opportunity to get either free or very reduced opportunities to get students and children from those families to participate in recreational activities within the city of Des Plaines. Additionally, in order for us to be able to promote local businesses, I would really like to see us increase our incentives for local businesses and want to promote local businesses, especially local businesses of color, marginalized populations, and have them, us, choose the city of Des Plaines over our neighbors. And what's one way we could incentivize that? How about something as unique and creative as telling a local business, if you come to the city of Des Plaines, we will help you with paying your lease for the first 6 months of your existence. So now you have less pressure and a likelier chance for you to succeed as a business. And imagine when we do something like that, and it's also for a local business that is owned by a person of color or from a diverse background. Now imagine how that value can bring, how much value that can bring to the city of Des Plaines. Now you have people of color diversifying, continuing to diversify the city of Des Plaines, but also now you're keeping them here, and now you're increasing that, again, that sense of belonging and building community as a result.
Thank you for your answer. I would like for you now to consider our fourth question. The fourth question is, what specific means of communication will you use in order to regularly communicate with constituents? Will there be newsletters sent out, a dedicated Facebook page, regular ward meetings?
So what I would like to do first and foremost is reach out to my constituents in the 8th Ward and ask them what they prefer. Something tells me that through a survey of some kind, I will see probably a range of respondents. So if the people are telling me they would prefer emails, then I will do that. The people want a bigger social media presence, then I will have to go in that direction. Perhaps maybe it's a newsletter, then so be it. Maybe it's a combination of all of them, or maybe some would like to have regular meetings, so I will have to probably set those up at Friendship Conservatory. This is an area of growth for me, honestly. This is something that I want to work on revamping, but I do want to make sure I get the feedback of the people first before I go in whatever direction I want to go to. But I'm very open to communicating with anyone who wants to reach out in whatever manner that they want to. Comfortable with technology, I've always been good with it, and I'm happy with reaching out through all means of communication. And besides that, all my information is regularly on the website. My phone number for the city of Des Plaines is on there, as well as my Alderman email address as well. So I'm very easy to get a hold of if you want to get a hold of me.
Thank you for your explanation. We will now turn to our final question of the day. Please share with voters your opinion in response to this question. How do you plan to promote inclusivity and diversity? How do you plan to seek out voices of all different backgrounds and experiences? How do you plan to represent them?
First and foremost, I am a representative of inclusivity and diversity on the city council floor, right? I am the first Assyrian descent that has ever sat on a city council office chair in the history of Des Plaines, right? So I want to use my representation to promote my existence to all other Assyrians, to all other kids and people of color, and allow them to see that, yes, they too can be here. The more interest I can connect to this position, the better. I will reach out to the people in the Indian community, to the African American community, the Hispanic community, and work with them and recruit them to try to maybe volunteer in the very beginning. And I'm doing that right now, actually, with my own campaign, and then inspire them to go out there and try to get their name on the ballot in the future and run for elections. All right. And I will continue to try to strive for some of the things I spoke about earlier, to have events that are inclusive of all the members of our community, right? So if we have a huge Latino, Hispanic community, then let's make events for them. If we have a huge Indian population, which we do have in the city of Des Plaines, why not create a nice festival of Diwali, for example, which is a festival of lights amongst that group. At the end of the day, we have to reach out to the varying cultures in our community and allow them to choose what they would like to do to be able to be celebrated. So I will take my opportunity to reach out and continue to share my story and inspire people to get to this point as well, who come from different cultures and backgrounds.
That concludes our interview questions. If voters would like more information about your platform or plans, what would be the best way to find out more details?
Quickest way right now is to go onto the City of Des Plaines website. I am on there as well. My information, my email, and phone number is there. I'm very easily accessible on Instagram, Facebook as well. So I've been posting quite a bit about my campaign through there. And I have a donation page, and I have numbers and emails shared on my campaign page as well, to be able to reach out to me or donate, or even reach out to volunteer.
Great. Thank you again for your participation in this interview and for your interest in serving our community.